Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and we're going to talk about this week's weekend update. Never mind, I don't know why I hit play. The first place we went to over this weekend was the Chateau Malbrouck, which is actually not in Luxembourg. It's right across the border, past Remic, in France.
The Castle Malbrouck was built by Arnold VI of Sierck between the years of 1419 and 1436 because he decided he wanted a castle to live in. The castle is designed as a fortress, but it was only used as a residence for Arnold and his family, and it was located in Mainsberg, or My Mountain, overlooking the village of Mandarin. The many different owners of this castle tried to maintain it over the years, but it was hammered by so many different wars in Europe that by the 17th century, it was just a farm and ruins. Which, if you ask me, is quite sad, considering it was built as a fortress. In 1705, this castle became a witness to the Spanish Succession War. Rather, that's the War of Spanish Succession. It's crazy. Between the years of 1701 and 1714. Yeah, it's a long war. Complicated politics of the succession of The Spanish success... No. The War of Spanish Succession. Yeah, there we go. All the politics aside, the English decided to invade France through the Moselle Valley, and the English commander, John Churchill, the first Duke of Marlborough, decided to set up headquarters in this castle because he liked castles and fun or something, I don't know. He decided to set up his command in the Chateau de Mainsberg in June 1705. When Marlborough was confronted that same year by the French, who were not super happy about being invaded, Marlborough realized his troops were in no condition to fight and he had little provisions whatsoever, so he withdrew and ran away, no bloodshed whatsoever. The castle had to undergo 10 years of restoration work. It was then renamed the Chateau de Malbrouck, Malbrouck being a contraction of Marlborough, in memory of the Duke of Marlborough. For whatever reason, because he's English and the French were fighting whatever, but it was named in memory of his stay there for a little while before the French chased him off. So yeah.
But, if you ask me, there's only one castle that can top that view. Yes, that's right everybody, we are going to the most beautiful castle that you have never heard of.
Now I'm going to try and keep this next one short because it's pretty self-explanatory. The castle is very pretty, has very nice views, but not that great of a history. Nothing much happens. So I'll just briefly go over. The Castle Bourscheid is located on a steep cliff. It's a slate cliff that overlooks the Sur River. The castle is only accessible from one direction, the northwest, and there's one main gate that you could enter the actual castle from. And that's because, well, the rest of it is either cliff or forest or cliff and forest or some other bad stuff like that. This castle was originally only a wooden fort around the year 1000, and excavations have identified structures of origin from Roman, Merovingian, Carolingian, and Ottonian origin. Basically, some really old civilizations liked this hilltop and built stuff there because no one could access it and take it over, which makes sense because it's on a cliff. So when you visit the castle today, you'll notice there are 8 towers and a main outer wall. This wall was completed in the year of 1384, which is also at the same time that the main house was built. Now, after 1477, an outer yard was built with another gate which you could only access and enter the castle through in one direction from. And this one was protected by artillery, mainly in the form of cannons, as well as some infantry and a garrison. But as if this castle wasn't impregnable enough, they decided to add a moat and a drawbridge because reasons. This castle was responsible for keeping the tithe, which was a tenth of what everybody made back in the medieval times, which kind of explains why it's so impregnable and no one really took it over, which is why it's got a bit of a bad history. On the other hand, since its history isn't so great, the views are absolutely spectacular. Something interesting about this castle is that it is one of the only castles to have the village of which it is protecting or responsible for located at a higher plane than the castle itself. So this castle is actually below the elevation of the village of Bourscheid, which is very strange. This castle, although mostly intact, is still undergoing restorations to this day.
So yeah, that's everything for this edition of the Weekend Update. Now, as I'm sure you've noticed, this is actually last weekend's Weekend Update, and I didn't have the chance to upload it before I went off to camp this week. So you're getting it a weekend late, but that's alright because I'm not doing anything this weekend, so you can watch what I did last weekend this weekend. Hope you enjoy it. Now also, I think you may have noticed that I did the content a little differently, so if you like that, please be sure to leave a like. Let me know in the comments section below. I'd really appreciate your feedback and know what I can do to improve. Also, quick update. School is starting soon, so please do not be expecting super crazy long videos like this one that consistently, at least at the beginning. They will definitely come on the weekends when I do cool things, but not the first couple of weeks because I'm gonna be in school. And then finally, because this video is getting really long and I'm sick of editing it, I hope you like what I'm doing with the camera right now, because I'm going to start some cinematic stuff up once I get some actors from school, some friends, and we're going to start some cinematic stuff as soon as I have the free time to do it and I get a better editing software. So that's it for this edition of the Weekend Update, and I have to think of something cool to do at the end of the video because everyone else does and I don't, and I feel stupid and left out. So here's the cowboy hat. Goodbye.